Hello and a very good evening. You're watching NDTV 24/7. My name is Kitty Behel. Well, our big coverage on Tahawwur Rana's extradition to India continues on NDTV. We've been the first channel to report and inform you that Tahawwur Rana would be landing in India after 6 p.m. This is a confirmation that we've been able to access, and this is the latest now coming in. We'll be getting you all the latest updates and developments on Tahawwur Rana's extradition in just a bit from now.
This is a story with absolutely zero room for error. I'm Shiv Arur. Thanks so much for being with us this evening on NDTV, the only channel that's got it right, and we'll tell you why that is so important. Less than 2 hours to go for Tahawwur Hussain Rana, the chief plotter of the 26/11 attacks, is going to be landing at Delhi's Palam VIP airport. We've got our reporters spanned from Mumbai to Delhi and beyond to get you the biggest reactions as we report this huge terror catch in real time. Thanks again for being with us. Here are the headlines. 26/11 plotter set to arrive in under 2 hours, like I said. Security tight at Delhi's Palam. National Investigation Agency gears up for arrest. Rana to land post 7. Only factual updates here on NDTV.
26/11 attack survivors await closure. Survivors recall Mumbai's night of nightmare. They push for stringent penalty for Tahawwur Rana.
The police officer who captured Kasab is exclusive to NDTV on the biggest day since the attacks. He was there. He saw the bullets fly. He made one of the biggest arrests of 26/11 that has allowed India to be there this day. You'll hear him on our coverage tonight. So that aircraft is inbound as we speak. We understand that in less than 2 hours from now, that special plane carrying Tahawwur Hussain Rana all the way from Chicago, presumably with some stops in between, will be landing at Delhi's Palam technical area. The NIA team on board got his custody yesterday in the United States. So he's technically already in Indian hands, but he will be on Indian soil at about 7 this evening.
Well, absolutely. We understand security has been heightened at the Palam airport where Tahawwur Rana's special flight, the special plane from which he is being brought to India, is expected to land anytime. Now we understand the flight is going to land post 6 p.m. Between 6 to 7 p.m. we are given to understand the flight is going to land, and the NIA, as we know, of course, has the custody of Tahawwur Rana. Multi-agency team is bringing him back, and we understand here after he lands here, he is going to be produced in a court. Security, of course, has been heightened outside Delhi's Patiala court as well. But yes, a lot of developments now taking place. We understand in just 1 hour from now, we are learning that Tahawwur Rana would be landing in Delhi. Our team of reporters is on the ground. I have with me Aishwarya, who is also joining us from the Palam airport. My colleague Anushka is also at the Palam technical area. We have Anuj from Leopold Cafe and Radhika from the Taj Hotel.
Let's go straight across to Aishwarya first. He's at Palam, which is really ground zero as far as today is concerned. Aishwarya, you know, we've seen a lot of people making wrong calls today. NDTV got it right. That aircraft with Tahawwur Hussain Rana is still airborne. We can confirm that once again because, you know, in a story like this, timing is everything. These are national security issues and there is no room for error. He's going to be landing somewhere between 6 and 7. All preparations already happening on the ground. They're ready for him, Aishwarya.
Well, what we have been given to understand so far is that multi-level security is in place for Tahawwur Rana's convoy from Palam Technical Airport to the NIA headquarters, where he will be taken and that is in place. There have been multiple cars that I've seen going inside the Palam Technical Airport since morning, as there is a high security zone that the entire technical airport has been converted into. Certainly there are ambulances, the bulletproof cars that have also went in this morning, and also senior officials from just not one or two agencies but multi-agencies that includes the NIA, the security, paramilitary security personals, and the high-level officers who are already inside the Palam Technical Airport, and they are waiting for Tahawwur Hussain Rana with a multi-level team that went to the United States and is bringing back to India chartered flight, the government chartered flight in which he would be landing post 6 p.m. is what we can confirm to our viewers, and in an hour, that means probably around 7 p.m. is what we can tell our viewers, that he would be taken out from the Palam Technical Airport, because several formalities had to be done inside the airport as soon as he lands on Indian soil. But as I was mentioning about the multi-level security, it is just not at the Palam Technical Airport but also at various points from here on to the NIA headquarters, where he will be taken as far as different points are concerned for safe passage. Such an arrangement has been made by the top security agencies of the country.
Multi-layer security arrangements have been made. We understand as Tahawwur Rana's special plane, that special flight from which he is being brought to India, is expected to land in some time from now. My colleague Ghazali is at the NIA headquarters in Delhi. Anuj at Leopold Cafe, Radhika at Taj. Anuj, if I could come to you, Leopold Cafe has been one of the places where the attack took place, of course, and a number of lives were lost. Around 10 innocent souls lost their lives at the Leopold Cafe when the attack took place. What do people say now that Tahawwur Rana is being extradited back to India? What are people really asking for?
Kitty, this place is very important. Before I show you the actual bullet marks that are here, let me just tell you why this entire street is important, right? The attack happened in multiple points here in South Mumbai, but this is the Kolaba Causeway. Officially, of course, it is called as Shahid Bhagat Singh Marg, but more popularly referred to as Kolaba Causeway. And the fact that the attack happened at different places and it tried to deter the different kinds of spirit of Mumbai, right? When it happened at the Taj Hotel, we know that it was more symbolic in nature. When it happened at CST, we know that the target was to gun down as many people as possible, which is why close to 60 people were killed. But when you talk about this particular cafe, you can very clearly see that this cafe in its truest sense captures the cosmopolitan nature of Mumbai. We've got people from all across the world coming in here and enjoying enjoying their food and having fun in this part of the world, in this part of the country. But they've still managed to keep these these shot marks that were there post the attack. They've preserved them as a gesture to make sure that even if time passes by, even if they develop the cafe, redevelop the cafe time and again, they still want to keep the memory of this attack alive, and that pretty much goes for the entire city. We know that the entire city has tried to keep the attack or the memory of the 26/11 attack in their collective psyche, which is very important and which is a very Mumbai thing to do. And that is what we are picking up from here. This is a very busy street.
Right, because
another important thing is that
Mumbai has preserved the scars of 26/11 in a really, really poignant way, but the action and the next step in this entire case is going to be happening far away in India's capital. And while we show you those pictures of Leopold Cafe, and I hope many of the people, dining out this evening at Leopold and elsewhere do know what's happening in the country, do know what's happening, in the national capital where we're bringing you this broadcast from. Ghazali, the NIA got their hands on Tahawwur Rana yesterday. They're with him, they're co-passengers with him on that plane right now. A couple of hours out mean probably not in Indian airspace just yet, but just give us the breakdown, Ghazali, of what happens once he lands. Specifically, where is he going to be taken first? What are the next few steps? Where is he going to spend the night tonight?
See, no confirmation as of now, but what we are picking up is that he will be brought here at the NIA headquarters. The security has been beefed up in and around the CGO complex. The NIA headquarters, the entire road have been barricaded. Once he lands here in Delhi, he will be brought here. And what we are being told that his medical checkup will also happen here at the NIA headquarters only. And maybe through video conferencing, he will be produced before the court. And then his custody will be taken, is what we are being told. But no confirmation as of now. And the bigger challenge for NIA would be that Tahawwur Hussain Rana is not a novice criminal. He has also been investigated and interrogated by the US agencies. So he very well knows that what is going to be the entire dynamics of the interrogation here with the NIA and other agencies. And the focus will be to unravel all his local links here, because before the Mumbai attack, he had visited Mumbai, and not just Mumbai, but other locations as well. NIA dossier about Tahawwur Rana also explains that he and his childhood friend David Coleman Headley, they were also planning to launch attacks in different other cities in India. What were those targets? Who was assisting them in those targets? What were the local support they were getting? These are the details perhaps which the NIA will focus to get once he is there in their custody.
Well, absolutely. And Pakistan so far has been denying its link to the 26/11 attack, saying that they have no hand in it. Pakistan today also has said that, Tahawwur Rana, as he is being brought back to India, he's a Canadian national and they have no link with him. Of course, they're worried that the revelations or the testimony that he gives could actually land Pakistan or the deep state in big trouble. We will talk about that. Radhika, my colleague, is also with us on the broadcast. She is at Taj. Let me introduce the guest also. Dr. Brahma Chulani is also joining us on the broadcast. Rupen Doshi, who's a 26/11 attack survivor, is with us on the broadcast as well. If I could come to Mr. Doshi here first. Thank you so much, Dr. Brahma Chulani and Mr. Doshi, for being with us here on NDTV. Mr. Doshi, if I could come to you first, what would you like to tell us, to the viewers of NDTV, what happened on that very day when you were, we understand, at one of those locations where this attack took place in Mumbai? What is your memory of the attack?
Fear, obviously. Something completely unknown to us. In that sense, we are living a protected life, and thanks to our government and our military, our borders are safe. So this is something absolutely new and very scary. You see it in the Rambo movies, but none of us are Rambos in real life, right? So I think fear was the biggest thing. And, surprisingly, safety of others also. So as much as we think that, each other people are, hard-hearted and cruel and selfish and all of that, I think safety of others also mattered a lot. On that day and the days after, you could hear gunshots in the city of Bombay for 3 days, okay, all over the place. So though it happened in South Bombay, you could hear, even in Central Bombay, you could hear the gun firing. So fear that we have not known ever before, and fear of the unknown. So a lot of ambiguity, right? You don't know what's going to happen next, who's going to be targeted, who's going to make it, who's not going to make it.
Right.
So those are all the feelings of that particular day, which will happen in any situation like this, right? Even if you get into a car accident, this is what will happen. Yeah. And nobody even knew that this was terrorism. And we had all heard about it, read about it. But coming to our shores and our door was something which was really, really strange for us. But, having said that, I must say that citizens in general, people in general, of Mumbai, of India, maybe even of the world, are tough. Internally, man has been built, man and woman, obviously, has been built very strongly. So, we have these inbuilt mechanisms, just as animals do, to fight fear, to fight resistance, to fight, whatever else may actually endanger our safety. And I think that came to the fore in the entire city, not just, in the Oberoi or the Taj, but the entire city held hands together.
Very true.
And we came together as a one single unit. And the entire confidence level of people was infectious. Strength and energy got translated. And though it was a huddle and a kind of slightly fearful kind of a huddle, nervous huddle, I think that is something which really is worth talking about. That people really came together, they understood, they empathized.
Mr. Doshi,
like
I'm
we did
really
in
glad
COVID,
you
it happened in
mentioned
COVID
the
also.
way Mumbaikars actually came together, because a lot is said, about the spirit of Mumbai, mostly, mostly in a way that doesn't really make Mumbaikars happy. But the day that you are speaking about is a day that I was there. 16 years ago, I happened to be outside the Taj, outside Nariman House and the Trident. It was my first big TV reporting assignment. So I know exactly what you mean when you say it wasn't just the people who were, affected, who were inside these buildings, but Mumbaikars in general who came out to help their fellow citizens. It was truly a spectacle to see. And an incredible thing to watch. And it played out in real time over 3 to 4 days when we were out there reporting on what was going on. And I'm glad you also mentioned, the sound of gunfire became a kind of background score to, normal life in those 3 days. And, one still hears that sometimes. But I want to zoom out for just a moment, because this was 16 years ago, and now in 2025, one of the chief plotters, the logistics in chief in some ways, is about to land in India. For many of us who covered it, and I'm sure for you, Mr. Doshi, as well, it's almost an unbelievable prospect that a Pakistani, who had traveled to Mumbai, who was safely in the United States, who's been through their justice system, is actually being dragged back. And that's why I want to ask Brahma Chelani how he reads this situation. It's easy to dismiss this as merely symbolic, given everything that India has already done to try and nail the ISI in Pakistan. But Dr. Chelani, how important is it today?
It's important because Rana was clearly working for the Pakistani intelligence, especially its front organization, the Lashkar-e-Toiba. He, as a former Pakistan Army medical officer, he was a trusted agent of the Pakistani deep state. But I think we should not forget on this day, on the day that Rana is going to land in India, that Pakistan's elaborate strategy to pass the 10 Mumbai attackers off as local Hindus unraveled due to one man, Tukaram Omble. Tukaram Omble, the ex-army soldier, a police sub-inspector. He provided the clinching evidence of Pakistan's involvement by sacrificing his life to get Ajmal Kasab captured alive. Just think of a scenario in which all the 10 Mumbai attackers had died. And there were local people, people in India, who were saying that this was a local conspiracy, a conspiracy hatched locally. There would have been no clinching evidence of Pakistan's involvement. And this whole subterfuge of Pakistan, making the attackers wear sacred Hindu threads so that they could pass off as local residents of Mumbai. That strategy would have worked, at least to a large extent.
Right.
But so against that background, I think getting a Canadian of Pakistani origin who was deeply involved in the plotting in facilitating the attacks in Mumbai is a very important step.
Absolutely, sir. Yes, it's a significant moment for India as Tahawwur Rana is being brought back to India. He finally, it's time to bring justice to those who suffered in the 26/11 attacks, the dastardly attacks that took place in 2008. And we understand now much more, a lot of developments now taking place. We understand he's going to be landing in India in just a bit from now. We'll be keeping an eye on all the developments that are coming in. Let me go across to my colleague Radhika also, who is joining us from outside the Taj. And also we have our colleague Anushka joining us from the Palam airport. Anushka, I'll come to you and we'll try to know what kind of movement is taking place at the Palam airport. But first to Radhika. Taj Hotel is one of those places where the maximum impact of the attacks was felt. Over 30 people, lost their lives at the hotel. What's really happening there? What are people really saying now that Tahawwur Rana is being brought to India?
Well, there is a sense of closure for sure. There is a sense of relief, but it's not complete closure, certainly. This is just the tip of the iceberg. This is just one piece of puzzle that's getting solved, is what several of the people believe, several of the survivors and victims believe. Of course, this was the epicenter of 26/11 attacks. The siege that went on for close to 3 days, more than 30 people died here. We know for a fact that this place literally had turned into a war zone of sorts. In fact, four terrorists opened fire for close to 3 days, killed more than 30 people, took people hostage. And, you know, those visuals are, of course, very, very vivid at this point. We've all covered 26/11 extensively. The deposition posed that, the trial posed that, Ajmal Kasab's hanging, David Headley's deposition, whereby he had named Tahawwur Rana, and, of course, multiple charge sheets that were filed by Mumbai police. In 2023, another supplementary charge sheet was filed by the Mumbai police, which spoke about active role of Tahawwur Rana, how he had facilitated David Headley's stay in Mumbai, his recce in Mumbai, and how he had been an intermediary of sorts between LET operatives as well as David Coleman Headley, and how Tahawwur Rana himself had visited multiple locations in the city of Mumbai and elsewhere as well. As far as victims and survivors are concerned, yes, this is one step closer to justice, but the fact remains that there are big fish, there are more people, there are bigger players who need to be caught. So perhaps this could be one step, one positive step towards that direction. What Tahawwur Rana will spill out during his examination, during his questioning and interrogation, that will be of interest as far as Indian intelligence agencies, Indian agencies are concerned per se. And Mumbai police certainly would want to take his custody, as they were the primary investigators in this case.
And the link between Tahawwur Hussain Rana and David Coleman Headley, who is a Pakistani American, is something that should give all Indians sleepless nights. Even as we celebrate today as a really, really big milestone in India's war against terror, to bring back a chief plotter of 26/11 to India, let's remember that David Coleman Headley, his ambiguous antecedents, the ambiguous reason why he continues to be in the United States despite India and the US being very, very close partners, especially in the field of anti-terror. It's something to think about even as we, hail the fact that our diplomats and our officials will be dragging Tahawwur Hussain Rana back. Anushka is standing a post at Ground Zero Palam. This is remember, Delhi's airfield and airport, for those who don't live in the national capital, is divided into the Indira Gandhi International Airport, which is the civilian area, and Palam Technical Area, which is basically under the Air Force's Western Air Command. So that's a VIP technical area where your politicians and dignitaries and, of course, arch-terrorists also land. Anushka, I'm sure there must be security arrangements outside the airbase as well. We did see vehicles going inside, jammers and ambulances and electronics vehicles, etc. There's still a bit of ambiguity over where Rana is going to be taken, but that's not surprising given he's a high-value terrorist. So obviously there's nothing official going to be coming out about his exact next steps.
That's right, Shiv. What we can say right now is that he will be landing shortly on the Indian soil, and as soon as he steps feet here, he will be legally arrested by the NIA. Let me show you some visuals also from outside the Palam, airport. These are the visuals that we are getting in right now. The police patrolling vans right now. Also, in fact, in a few minutes ago, they entered inside this whole area. We also saw the convoys that were in fact going in and outside, because this is a very high-profile area, considering the kind of movement that we can see here. Now, in view of high-profile case, just like the Tahawwur Rana, Delhi Police SWAT team has been deployed for the security, not just at the Palam airport, but also outside the NIA headquarters and also Patiala House Court. And now, in addition to the personnel from Delhi Police and CRPF stationed at the NIA headquarters, Tahawwur Rana will be taken to the NIA headquarters from airport under heavy security. There will be multi-layered security. Tahawwur Rana will be taken under the security cover of SWAT commandos from Delhi Police Special Cell. Several Delhi Police vehicles will be escorting Rana's convoy. He will be in fact traveling in a bulletproof vehicle. after Tahawwur Rana is extradited, and when he will be stepping feet, the NIA in connection with the 26/11 attacks will be arresting him. A medical test will be conducted, and after that he will be produced in the court, and his remand will be sought. This is going to be a very important step, for the NIA. Also, after he's taken off the plane, he may be transferred in a bulletproof vehicle, according to sources. A marksman vehicle has been kept on standby along with bulletproof car. Now, remember, the US judiciary had also given guidelines regarding his extradition, regarding this whole matter.
All right.
There were some rules.
Well,
Tahawwur Rana
Anushka,
did
will
say
come
that
back
he was
to you.
suffering.
We understand there is still little movement at the Palam technical area, but yes, in some time from now, we are expecting that special flight would be landing at the Palam airport, which is bringing Tahawwur Rana to India. Well, he is going to be facing trial here, and much more that the Indian authorities are looking to get from him. A lot of questions that remain unanswered about the 26/11 attacks and the Pakistan's ISI's role into the 26/11 attacks, which Pakistan so far has been denying, saying that they have no hand. But yes, Indian authorities are going to leave no stone unturned, in making sure that they get the maximum from Tahawwur Rana. Well, Mr. Rupen Doshi also continues to be with us on the broadcast here. Mr. Doshi, now that Tahawwur Rana is being brought to India, what are you asking for? What is your expectation?
My expectation is pretty much the same as the country's expectation, and the way the country has conducted itself. Follow the process of law, be civil in whatever you do, but don't let this guy go. Okay, we need to book him, and we need to process. I know when Kasab was jailed at the Arthur Road jail, which is 2 kilometers from my office, we had huge protests in the city saying, why are we spending so much of money on them? Why are we giving him biryani for food and stuff? But I remember Hillary Clinton came at that time, and we showed to her that, we are following the process of law. So obviously the government is smart enough to understand that, and they will follow the process of law, and we will showcase to the world 2 things. One is that we are essentially a peaceful people, right? We've just been wronged in all of this and, made to look like the guilty party because of Pakistan's friendship with the world or whatever, with America. And secondly, I think as the biggest victims of terrorism in the world, we need to show the way. We need to show people how you need to fight this.
Right.
So once we get that leverage, because of what, good stuff we have done in bringing this man to book, and following the actual processes, the correct and the civil way of doing it, not just the process of law. So once we do that, we will get the ear of the world. And once the world is willing to listen to us, I think we need to tell them that terror financing has to stop. This whole encouragement of terror. You see, that Trump just bombed the Houthi rebels. He just bombed Yemen. So, we can also do that, right? We do have such capabilities.
Mr. Doshi, just
but
one
we're not
follow-up
doing
question
that.
to that.
So expectations of any common man.
I don't mean to contradict you, sir, but I'm just, because you have a unique perspective on this, so I do want to ask, India has followed the book. India, whether it was with Kasab, whether it was with the FATF, whether it was with the United Nations, India has followed the book and been very peaceful as far as Pakistan is concerned vis-a-vis 26/11. It hasn't really gained anything from that. From Hafiz Mohammad Saeed to Zakir Rahman Lakhvi to Sajid Mir to Colonel Iqbal, they're all living free lives in Pakistan right now. Isn't that something to think about, sir?
Sorry, what is your question?
I'm saying that, the chief accused of 26/11, the masterminds, continue to be in Pakistan living free lives despite India being peaceful and following the book.
You can never control even your friends. Forget controlling your enemies. Why do we keep grudging Pakistan for what they're doing? They don't like India. They want to fight with us. They have never forgotten the wounds of 1947. They have enough reasons. As a matter of fact, their own problems is, keeping them engaged with us, because the government wants to divert the attention of the public. So why do we keep saying Pakistan this and Pakistan that? If you want to complain so much about a nation, just fix them, no? Just like the Israelis do, right? The Hamas and the Hezbollah were hiding behind innocent Palestinian citizens, and see what happened. Unfortunately, 50,000 innocents lost their lives. Not that I'm advocating that, but I'm saying, why are you complaining about Pakistan? Fix the problem.
Yeah,
it's very easy to fix the problem. Politically, militarily, diplomatically, culturally, whichever way you want, but do it. Don't just talk about it. So I think we need to get more into the action. And, if our country, being a little bit, because of our culture, being a little passive in whatever we do, I think if we go on the front foot and, we take the bull by the horn and attack those guys in where it really hurts them, I don't think anybody's unhappy. Maybe we need to take proactive steps now, not just with Pakistan, but with the rest of the world, diplomatically with the rest of the world, and militarily wherever it's necessary.
This is an incredibly, mature view from someone who actually saw the horror firsthand. So I take my hat off to you, Rupen Doshi. What you've advocated here, is not, an aggressive stance. There may be people who will disagree with you, but I don't think there will be anyone who sits here today and doesn't, admire you for taking that stand, because it's difficult to have been in that position and still be able to, step back for a moment and actually see that big picture that you have so beautifully described. So I thank you, and thank you especially for being with us on this difficult day. It's a big milestone for India. Remember, in about 90 minutes from now or less is when Tahawwur Hussain Rana will be landing. But here on NDTV, we, like with Rupen Doshi, have been speaking to those who were scarred, those who lost, those who continue to grieve 16 years later, the survivors of 26/11, united to speak to our reporters here on NDTV. Take a look.
मेरे चाचा का एक्सीडेंट हो गया लखनऊ में। हम लोग उनको देखने गांव जा रहे थे। पापा बोले तुम लोग इधर बैठो, मैं टिकट निकाल के लेकर आ रही हूँ। जैसे टिकट निकाल ले गए तो 2 कसाब थे और एक आदमी और थे। वो लोग बाथरूम में गए, अपना गन सेट करके आए। एक धमाका हुआ, धमाका होने बाद फिर फायरिंग करने लगे। फायरिंग करने के बाद मेरे गोली लग गया। उसके बाद मैं गिर गई, मेरे कुछ मालूम नहीं चला। फिर मेरा पापा आए तो बोले 15 नंबर से छुप के देख रहे थे। बोले अभी मेरी लड़की तो घायल हो गई, अभी मैं कैसे जाऊँगी? मैं भी जाऊँ तो मेरे को भी लग जाएगा। तो पापा बोले रुक जाओ। तो फिर जो ठेला वाला गाड़ी आता उस पर हम लोग के लाद के ले गए हॉस्पिटल में। उस टाइम में जो हॉस्पिटल में थी, मेरे साथ में 2-3 लोग लाइन से सोए थे। वो लोग मर गए, खाली उसमें से मैं बची।
मैं सिटी वॉक में काम करता था 2008 के अंदर। जब मैं बाहर खड़ा था तो हमको ऐसा लगा गैंग वार हो रहा है, कोई अंदर कुछ आपस के अंदर कुछ झगड़ा हो रहा है। बाकी सडनली पब्लिक भागम भाग कर रही थी, तो इस हिसाब से ऐसा लग रहा था कुछ हो गया इधर बहुत बड़ा। और यहाँ पुलिस चौकी भी सामने थी, उन लोग को भी नहीं समझ में आया क्या है क्या नहीं है। तो फिर सडनली फिर लोग यहाँ फायरिंग किए, ग्रेनेड फेंके। यहाँ पे भी 25-30 पीपल डाई हो गए, एक्सपायर हो गए। इसमें फॉरेनर्स भी थे, इंडियन भी थे, ऑल मिक्सअप थे। फिर पास फ्रॉम ईयर यहाँ से काफ़ी ताज के अंदर गए लोग, और ताज में भी बहुत बैड हुआ।
उस दिन मेरा दोस्त को छोड़ने के लिए CST स्टेशन पहुंचा था। रात को 9:30 पौने 10 बजे का टाइम था। तो हम लोग हॉल में वेटिंग कर रहे थे, तो सामने से अचानक कुछ आवाज़ आया 2-3 बार। तीसरी बार मेरे को लग गया, तो बाद में पता चला कि फायरिंग हो रहा है। तो हम भागने का कोशिश किया, मेरे को यहाँ पे लग गया था। तो मेरे को बाद में पब्लिक ने मेरे को लेके जाके एडमिट किया। सब बाद में दूसरा दिन पता चला कि ऐसा। फिर मेरे सामने बहुत लोगों को जान भी चला गया था।
आपके सामने? हाँ,
मेरे सामने बहुत लोग गिरे हुए थे। उसी में मैं भी भागने का कोशिश किया, लेकिन बाद में मेरे को भी भागने को नहीं हो गया। पेट में तकलीफ चालू हो गया, अंगार हो गया, ऐसा हो गया। तो मैं
लगने के बाद?
हाँ, ये लगने के बाद तो मेरे को भी चलने को नहीं हो रहा था। फिर मैं पब्लिक ने मेरे को लेके गया।
सबसे पहले मैं ये देखा, पहले अच्छा शांति में बैठे थे सब होटल में, नियोपोल कॉपे में। तो मैं आया, खड़ा रहा उधर, तो देखा सब बराबर गर्दी, पब्लिक अच्छा खा रही पी रही थी। जैसा वो मैच चालू हुआ, फटकारा बज रहा था, इंडिया जीता बोल के। तो इन लोगों का फ़ोन आया, बैग खोला, सीधा धर चालू करा, हम रनिंग करा, डायरेक्ट रनिंग करा। तो एक गुरु हम ऐसा लग रहा था हमारा ही इंसान मर रहा है। हम खुद बॉडी उठा के डाला है। जैसा मैं पीछे भागा तो उन लोग पहले ही भाग गए, हम इधर है तो रनिंग करके भाग गए उन लोग। किसके ऊपर रहम नहीं करते। हम भी मुसलमान है, जपन हिंदुस्तानी है, हम प्योर हिंदुस्तानी है। अभी जपन उन लोग में रहम नहीं है, दशा करके आए थे उन लोग। 4-4 दिन अंदर फायरिंग कर रहे थे, चालू था उन लोग का। और सब खबरस्तान दिख रहा था वो टाइम मेरे को।
Under 90 minutes to go for the arrival of Tahawwur Hussain Rana, the arch-terrorist facilitator of 26/11. His extradition after 16 long years finally reaches a point where he will be on Indian soil before 7 p.m. today. And NDTV was the only channel that got it right and talked about how he will now be in NIA hands before sundown tonight. But remember, as we await his arrival, the people most important, the people who we must all be listening to, are the heroes and those who continue to nurse the scars of what happened in Mumbai 16 years ago. For instance, Hemant Bhavdankar, the hero police officer who captured Ajmal Amir Kasab, the sole terrorist who was taken captive alive. Tukaram Umble, the assistant sub-inspector, lost his life after he wrapped his arms around Kasab to make sure he didn't get away. He died in that incident, but Inspector Bhavdankar survived, and he's the one who got the man.
Well, joining us now, a very special guest as we go back all those years and look at what happened on 26/11. I'm joined by one of the bravest sons of India, Hemant Bhavdankar, a retired Mumbai police inspector who played a huge role in the capture of Ajmal Kasab. हेमंत जी नमस्कार, शुक्रिया आप हमारे साथ आज बात कर रहे हैं। 17 साल हो चुके हैं, तहव्वुर राना को अब इंडिया वापस लाया जा रहा है, कुछ ही घंटों में वो इंडिया में होंगे। इस पे आपका क्या रिएक्शन है? आपके ख्याल से अब फाइनली जस्टिस, कानून को सर्व किया जाएगा?
First of all, I would like to congratulate NIA team that successfully they are bringing Tahawwur Rana, plotter of 26/11 attack on Mumbai city. And as you said, the justice will be served to all of us, not only the martyrs, innocent people gave their lives there, injured person, but every citizen of India, the justice will be served to them.
Hemant ji, let me ask you a question. You were in that police checkpost when you intercepted that vehicle in which Ajmal Kasab, one of the most dreaded terrorists who'd come across from Pakistan, was seated. It was a hijacked Skoda car, and you played a huge role in his capture. You were part of that team from the DB Marg police station when the driver of the hijacked Skoda car, Abu Ismail Khan, was shot dead. Can you tell us about the encounter?
All terrorists were dreaded terrorists, and 10 terrorists they arrived in Mumbai. Out of those, 2 dreaded terrorists were Abu Ismail and Ajmal Kasab, who were fleeing in a Skoda car towards Girgaon Chowpatty. And we got a message from control room, and we formed that 2 teams. One team consists of 8 police officers and men, including Sanjay Govilkar and Tukaram Omreji. They stood behind the barricades, and myself and Bhaskar Kadam and his detection staff stood on the road divider. The car came at 12:30 there and stopped 50 feet away from the place where we were performing Nakabandi duty. We instructed them, but they did not listen to our instructions. And driver Abu Ismail, who was driving the Skoda car, very fast drove the car towards us and tried to take U-turn to escape from the place, because 3 boundaries were jammed. Only one place was available to flee from that place, that is to take U-turn and return to the way they came from Nariman Point. But in that process, the turn was not taken by Abu Ismail perfectly, and the car banged on the road divider where I was standing. And Abu Ismail told Kasab, and accordingly Kasab took the hand grenade jacket and wiped out the blood on his face. That time it was I was sure that they are the terrorists. I alerted my team and I tried to approach to nab the Abu Ismail. Immediately he opened the fire. My officer Sanjay Bhaskar Kadam retaliated and shot one fire. I went back of the car and from there I fired 3 rounds at Abu Ismail. At the same time, the Kasab was sitting next to driver's seat, pretended to be surrendered, putting his hands up in a position. And as we were slowly approaching Abu Ismail, Kasab opened the door and got down from the Skoda. At the same time, Tukaram Ombleji, Sanjay Govilkar, the team rushed towards Kasab to catch him. But the Kasab took out the AK-47 hidden in his jacket and opened the burst fire, which hit Tukaram Omble. And in spite of that, Tukaram Ombleji did not lose the grip over the Kasab, and we thereafter successfully we could catch him successfully.
Hemantji, you were able to subdue Ajmal Kasab. How did that happen?
No, Tukaram Ombleji, Kasab did not get the opportunity to move because of the grip threatened by the Tukaram Ombleji. And in that process, we able to catch the Kasab alive there. We had 2 weapons and rest of the staff was having lathis. In spite of that, they were carrying 2 AK-47, 2 pistols and 1 live hand grenade in their cache.
Hemantji, this was the first time that you fired your revolver in a situation like this, right?
Exactly. Yes, this was my first encounter where I have to retaliate and fire shot at.
And you were able to eliminate the driver, the terrorist who was driving the car. You eliminated him. That's correct?
Myself and you can say Bhaskar Kadam, who also fired 1 shot at Abu Ismail.
And I think the bottom line, Hemantji, is that if your team hadn't carried out this action, many more innocent lives would have been lost if that car with Kasab and the other terrorists went to another area. That's why we are discussing this, right? The damage would have been much more.
Definitely. But the speed of the team, of my team, was very high at that point of time. When we got the message from control room at 12:15, we had a short meeting. At that time, my entire team told me, being a team leader, they told me that in any case, the car will not pass from this point. And with their support, moral support, we could give that result.
Hemantji, you're one of our bravest sons, you and that entire team, but you lost Assistant Sub-Inspector Tukaram Omble. Could you tell us a little bit about Omble?
Yes, he was a very assistant sub-inspector. He was that day was having very great enthusiasm, and when he reported to me at that point in time, and we were checking the vehicles at gunpoint and asking the passenger of the car. So at that time, Tukaram Omble, the speed of Tukaram Omble was at very high, and I have to tell him to take care of yourself. And because of him, I think rest of 15 our police personnel could survive there. Yeah. We can say it is the incarnation that we are having now, because Tukaram Omble sacrificed his life over there, and he saved us there. That is
Hemantji,
what I personally feel.
one final question. You've spoken about the psychological impact that this has had on you. After 17 years, have you been able to deal with that day, that moment, that encounter?
Yes, still when I pass by that spot, I remember, and the emotions just pull up my heart with the emotions, and the statue over there of Mr. Tukaram Umbleji, I bow down there and salute him, because whatever we are there now today, because of him only. That is what I personally feel.
So thank you for your bravery. Thank you for speaking to us. And today is an important day for India as that terrorist is brought back into our country. Thank you very much, sir.
Well, let's also now listen into Eknath Omble, who's the brother of Assistant Sub-Inspector Tukaram Omble, who lost his life in the 26/11 attack. He said that Tahawwur Rana should be hanged publicly. Listen in.
कितने निरपराध लोग मारे गए थे, कितने अपने पुलिस बांधव मर गए थे, उसमें कई जवान शहीद हो गए थे। और एक दर्दनाक मतलब वो 26/11 की रात थी। और उसके बाद जो 26/11 का मास्टरमाइंड हेडी था, उसका प्रमुख साथीदार तहव्वुर राना, उसको एक्चुअली ये लोगों को बहुत पहले ही सज़ा होनी चाहिए थी। बहुत पहले उनको सज़ा मिलके मतलब फांसी होनी चाहिए थी। अब पाकिस्तान का असली चेहरा सामने आया है, तो तहव्वुर राना को फांसी की सज़ा होनी चाहिए और उसमें अभी देर नहीं लगनी चाहिए।
And nobody will ever forget Goli, a child who was actually born at the Kama hospital that very night of the 26th, while carnage was playing out right outside. Her family shared their harrowing ordeal from that night.
श्यामा लक्ष्मण चौहान मेरा नाम है। उस रात हमको ऐसा होने वाला बोल के कोई आइडिया नहीं था, कोई मालूम नहीं था। डिलीवरी प्रेग्नेंट थी तो उसका दर्द, पेट में दर्द होने लग गया, तो हम लोग 9:30 बजे यहाँ से गए थे। वहाँ 10 बजे पहुँच गया काम हॉस्पिटल में। इतने में मेडिसिन दिया, हार्ट डिलीवरी हो जाएगा डॉक्टर ने बोला। और आयुर्वेदिक दवाई के लिए बॉम्बे हॉस्पिटल जाना पड़ेगा, पर्ची दिया था, उसको दवाई लेके आ बोला था। तो मैंने दवाई के लिए नीचे सीढ़ी से उतर के नीचे आ रहा था। मैंने आने के समय उस धड़ 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 गोली की आवाज़, फटकड़े का आवाज़ आया। तो मैंने सुना उस दिन इंडिया और इंग्लैंड का मैच था, तो इंडिया जीत गई होगी। वो हिसाब से मैं नीचे भाग के जा रहा था। भागते भागते जा रहा तो नीचे 2 जन को मारा गया। वो धड़ धड़ गोली भी चला रहे थे। उसके लिए देखा मैंने, ये तो इंडिया इंग्लैंड की मैच की आवाज़ नहीं है, कोई कुछ और है बोल के भाग के रिटर्न गया। डॉक्टर और मैडम को ऊपर लेके गया। पेशेंट को कैसा भी करके डिलीवरी कराओ, बाकी के संभाल लेंगे बोले।
26 नवंबर को आपका जन्म हुआ है, बहुत ही यूनिक डेट पर आपका जन्म हुआ है। कैसे कुछ अलग फील होता है कि मेरा बर्थडे एकदम अलग है? नहीं होता।
नहीं, कुछ भी रिग्रेट होता है।
रिग्रेट होता है। रिग्रेट होता है। उस दिन गोली ऐसा था कि आतंकवादी आए थे हमारे शहर में। आपको नहीं लगता कि आतंकवादियों को मिटाने के लिए अच्छा काम किया जाना चाहिए? आप अभी उज्जवल आप पढ़ रही हैं, सो आपको लगता है कि आगे चल के और अच्छा काम होना चाहिए?
हाँ, ऑब्वियसली होना ही चाहिए। वो मास्टरमाइंड उधर जाके बैठा है, अभी लेके आए, जल्द से जल्द फांसी तो देना ही चाहिए ना। ऐसे थोड़ी ना बिठा के रखेंगे उन लोगों को और कुछ आगे उन लोग का प्लान हो किधर से कुछ कर ना दे, तो फांसी दे देना चाहिए। और जो भी अपने पुलिस वाले, इंडियन आर्मी है, बहुत मतलब एकदम अच्छा काम करना चाहिए और एकदम स्ट्रिक्ट एंड मेंटेनेंस रखना चाहिए।
स्ट्रिक्ट एंड मेंटेनेंस, बहुत ही ज़रूरी बात कही। मैम, आखिरी मैं थोड़ा सा आपसे जानना चाहूँगी, 26/11 आप गर्भवती थी, आप दर्द में थी, उसके बावजूद गोली का जन्म हुआ। क्या उस समय आपके दिमाग में चल रहा, जैसे आपको गोलियों का एक आवाज़ सुनाई दिया?
आवाज़ तो सुनाई दे रहा था, पर मुझे डर नहीं लग रहा था उस समय। मैं और कुछ दूसरा दर्द में थी। पर जो देश में जो हुआ है वो नहीं होना चाहिए था उस टाइम पे। और काफ़ी लोगों की जाने गई है उस टाइम, तो मुझे उस टाइम मेरी घर लक्ष्मी पैदा हुई है, उसलिए मैं खुश हूँ। पर काफ़ी लोगों की जाने गई है तो हमें दुख होता है। ऐसे नहीं कि मेरे घर में बेटी हुई है और मीडिया वाले मेरे पास आते हैं, मेरा नाम है, ऐसे नहीं है। काफ़ी लोग, अगर मैं भी होती थी तो उस टाइम अगर मेरा परिवार पूरा मतलब चले जाते थे, तो ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए। जो भी है वो मास्टरमाइंड है, जो भी है, पर उसको फांसी देना चाहिए, फांसी मिलनी चाहिए।
Taking it.
All right, we've also now spoken to Sadashiv Kolaki, who was at the CST station on the day of the attack. He was shot at and has said that he is even scared of visiting CST today.
A few people, a few survivors still continue to stay in Mumbai, carrying on their daily chores, and one of them is Mr. Sadashiv Kolake. Now, he is the individual that we spoke to last time around as well, you know, when this entire matter of Tahawwur Rana was gaining prominence. And that is when he showed how he was very positive about the change, optimistic about the change that was taking place. And let us try and talk to him today, on the day of Tahawwur Rana being brought back to India. सदाशिव साहब, आपका काम करें, आप सबसे पहले हमें बताइए कि 15 साल हो गए 26/11 के अटैक को, और आप तभी भी मुंबई में थे, अभी भी मुंबई में हो। उस रात को आपके साथ जो हादसा हुआ वो बस हमें थोड़ा ब्रीफली एक्सप्लेन करिए कि क्या हुआ था एग्जैक्ट।
सर, मैं उस दिन मेरा दोस्त को छोड़ने के लिए CST स्टेशन पहुंचा था। रात को 9:30 पौने 10 बजे का टाइम था। तो हम लोग हॉल में वेटिंग कर रहे थे, तो सामने से अचानक कुछ आवाज़ आया 2-3 बार। तीसरी बार मेरे को लग गया, तो बाद में पता चला कि फायरिंग हो रहा है। तो हम भागने का कोशिश किया, मेरे को यहाँ पे लग गया था। तो मेरे को बाद में पब्लिक ने मेरे को लेके जाके एडमिट किया। सब बाद में दूसरा दिन पता चला कि ऐसा। फिर मेरे सामने बहुत लोगों को जान भी चला गया था।
आपके सामने?
हाँ, मेरे सामने बहुत लोग गिरे हुए थे। उसी में मैं भी भागने का कोशिश किया, लेकिन बाद में मेरे को भी भागने को नहीं हो गया। पेट में तकलीफ चालू हो गया, अंगार हो गया, ऐसा हो गया। तो मैं
लगने के बाद?
हाँ, ये लगने के बाद तो मेरे को भी चलने को नहीं हो रहा था। फिर मैं पब्लिक ने मेरे को लेके गया। तो बहुत बड़ा हादसा था वो, कि अभी भी या उधर जाएगा तो याद आता है कि डर लगता है। ऐसा सब ये था, इशू था। लेकिन अभी जो जिसको पकड़ा है उसको कसाब के जैसा 10 साल 12 साल नहीं रखना चाहिए, उसको तुरंत सज़ा देना चाहिए, फांसी होना चाहिए उसको। बहुत लोगों का ज़िंदगी ख़राब कर दिया है। अभी हमारा खुद ज़िंदगी ख़राब हो गया है, हम रोड पे अंधा कर रहे हैं, क्या करेंगे।
Still grinding it out 16 years later. That is grit, that is resilience. Those are the people who don't have a choice and they continue to be there in that amazing city that came together 16 years ago. What a milestone this evening is going to be. Less than an hour to go for the arrival of terrorist facilitator Tahawwur Hussain Rana.
And our big coverage will continue on NDTV. We will continue to get you all the latest updates and developments on that front as it comes. With that, it's time for a short break here. More continues on the other side.